Hey, what's going on? So I'm just out here on the track doing a little cardio interval work, and just wanted to share some stuff that I saw yesterday online from some performance coaches. I guess I use that term super loosely with these guys, but anyway, what they're attempting to sell you is that they are innovative and have found a secret that nobody else before them has found. And it's all bullshit. There is no secret to training. The principles are the same. They've been the same for a long time. And you just got to go put them into practice, actually do the work, and not program hop and just stay the course. But that's not what people want to hear. People want to think that there's something, think there's a shortcut, or think the grass is greener, or maybe I can take this pill or this injection and get some sort of shortcut. But it's important to remember that everything comes at a cost. It's all trade-offs. And oftentimes, as the old adage goes, if it's too good to be true, it likely is. Because, I see these injections that people are taking. They're dropping all sorts of weight real quick. But that's concerning because they're also losing muscle mass. They're also having issues with bone density. And then while we're at it, are we really changing the behavior? That's what's critical. People get their stomach stapled all the time, and they get all sorts of, have fat cut out, or cool sculpting is another one I've heard of. Again, it's just bullshit because it doesn't change any of the behavior. If the behavior's not modified, then all that shit is done in vain. So I would contend that you have to start with the behavior modification stuff first before you absolutely use that as a last ditch effort. And then I see these, in addition to that, I see all these performance coaches putting out, oh, well, don't go through a full range of motion because that's linked to inflammation, which causes cancer. Holy shit. Talk about some wild jumps, and no research to indicate that going past 90 degrees is dangerous. It's just not true. Then what was the other one I saw last night was some dude has his, I feel bad for his clients because he's just selling them just bullshit. And this guy's a hell of a salesman. And people are doing all this fancy looking movements, I guess, that have very little external load. And I think of it like they're just trying to learn a dance. Like speed ladders are dog shit. Yet people continue to do them and think that that's the secret. All right, well, I don't know if you've ever watched Sunday football, but you watch a guy who's just practiced dancing around on a speed ladder all summer and not done any change of direction, top end speed, deceleration, or any of that other stuff. And that guy who's just done the speed ladder stuff gets blown up on Sundays. And, people who practice all this stupid patterns of using nothing but a landmine, or they're holding these little 1.5 ounce shaky ball things, and they jump around a whole bunch of different ways, thinking that that's gonna make them stronger and faster and all this other stuff. It's not. It all comes down to ground reaction force. How much force can you put through the floor? How well can you transfer that force through the system? And all of it is rooted in jumping, throwing, Olympic lift variants, squat, deadlift, press and pull, and carries. And people will try to sell you the alternative, but that's not effective. And I would also add that it's dangerous, because people are coming to these coaches in an effort to prepare them for life or sport. So these people go to these coaches thinking that they're doing the right thing, like the client's thinking they're doing the right thing. And then they, have a situation in life that requires them to have high force output. I don't know, running away from a bad guy, or maybe it's an elderly individual who needs to get up off the ground, or maybe they're trying to prep for a sport. They haven't done the necessary groundwork to transfer a lot of force through the floor. They haven't done the necessary groundwork to strengthen ligaments and tendons. They haven't done the necessary groundwork to develop properly and in a systematic way with general physical preparation. They've done all sorts of goofy looking shit that they're, and I don't want to use the word coach, but that their fitness influencers told them is going to work. So anyway, just be very leery of some of this stuff you see. Anything that looks like, hey, this is brand new, nobody's ever thought of this before. I don't know about that, because nothing's really new. It's just put in the time, put in the effort. Every once in a while, you see something that is an addition to the game, that complements the game of, what movements you should be doing. But very, very, very rarely. I mean, we're past the point where there's going to be anything new. It's rooted in those fundamentals. So just be skeptical. And if you don't believe me, that's fine. Go check against some of the literature out there on that stuff. But more importantly, check with the coaches, or not just coaches, but practitioners who are actually doing the thing. Who's working with people successfully and having good results, low injury rate, proper development, et cetera, et cetera. Because oftentimes the practitioners are ahead of the science as far as the publication stuff goes. But anyway, just be very leery, be a skeptic, look around, stand on the shoulders of giants, look at what a lot of the successful coaches have in common. Look at what a lot of this, successful practitioners have in common. And then also look at the scientific literature, like what's coming out. What are they all three concluding and doing and putting out there? So just don't be manipulated and sold these promises, because a lot of them just aren't true. Anyway, have a good rest of your day. Let me know if you have any questions. Shoot me a DM or comment below.